Welcome to Today in Therapy, Episode 2. My name is Jesse. I'm a recreation therapist that works in mental health and has done so for well over 13, 14 years. This episode is one of my favorites. It's titled You Are Story, and let's get into it. Have you ever felt like certain events affected you for the worst? Well, me too. And that's why today in therapy, we talked about how you and I are story, and what does that mean? I was, not too long ago, researching how do you write a good story? Because I just really love the power of story and how it's been used in my life to teach me, and how it's been used by some of the greatest teachers ever to walk the earth. And so I started thinking, how can I write a good story that can affect people's life for the good? And that's when I stumbled upon a lady, Lisa Cron, and her research is some of what I'm going to share right now. And the research I'm talking about is just her definition of what a story is. And I think when I read this definition, it really clicked into me, this is something that I need to talk about in a therapy type group. So her definition was 4 parts. It is how what happens affects someone in the pursuit of a difficult goal, problem, or challenge, and how he or she changes as a result of those challenges. And so that, to me, when I read that, was very eye-opening. How what happens affects somebody. How what happens, so our life, our past, the things that happen to us, these things affect us. They affect us for good, for bad. They affect us for our future choices. And just in many ways it affects us. And that is always in the pursuit of a goal, problem, or challenge. And I like to say that's life. And so the last part is how he or she changes as a result of those challenges. So in any good story, a challenge occurs first. It's the call to action that comes to people, just like in the Lord of the Rings. If he wasn't invited to come on this adventure, he would have been kind of stuck in his life. And so that, to me, is a therapeutic value just in itself, that in order to engage in life, we have to answer the call of life on a daily basis. We can't keep to ourselves. We can't hide away our life. And that's the tragedy sometimes of anxiety and depression, is sometimes people don't fully get to live. And so our job as therapists is to get people to have that opportunity to live again. So that's always the challenge. Anyway, so I just wanted to continue now that it's quieter. I had a lot of traffic going on. So I don't know, the reason I think this definition of story is so vital and important for us to teach is that we are all story. We each have a life that was meant to be lived, and some of the challenges that we have faced quite often created some problems for us, and these problems are the things that we've been running from for most of our life. So it's kind of viewing our problems differently. It's kind of viewing our problems, our pain, those things that happen to us, as simply to state as just those obstacles that are going to make us who we are. If you look at any good story, there's no story that's free of pain. There's no story that's free of obstacles and challenges. And so that's kind of the aha moment, is that I'm a story, you're a story, and that we all have pain and trauma, or even burdens that we carry from our past. Some people carry those, and some people are able to shed them pretty well. But that is the thing, is that when we can realize that everybody else is carrying these burdens, if we can imagine everybody carrying a load around with them, we can start to say or see that, hey man, I don't have to be so hard around other people. I don't have to be so closed off to other people, that I and you, we've gone through some crap, and we are able to comprehend that, and so we can start to let down our guard a little bit and start accepting people for who they are. And that's, I think, a relief for many people. It would be freeing, hopefully, to know that you're a story and I'm a story. This concept really got to me when we've been witnessing these wars around the world, with Ukraine and with the Palestinian conflict. It's like the destruction of war is so destructive because it's the destruction of story. It's taking those stories away prematurely. Who knows the geniuses or the people who would have changed the world that have been killed prematurely because of an imaginary border and stupid things like that. So that's to me, is that seeing other people's story is just as important as yours. And so anyways, that's kind of something we talked about. I kind of added some more here, but yeah, that we're constantly in this pursuit of a difficult goal, problem, and challenge. That's something that I like to talk about. I guess it comes from the Buddhist idea that life is suffering, but pain and hardship, if we can get used to it, it should be, and it is, a regular part of our day. And so when pain or things that are hard happen, we don't have to, lose our mind over it. We can not need to get so angry about it. It's a Stoic principle to realize that each day there's going to be something that's hard that's going to happen, and that we're able to face that if we can kind of ready ourselves for it in the day. So each day something happens that might be difficult to face, whether it's just getting a bill in the mail or maybe our tire pops. We can see that as something that's just normal, just like the weather. We can't control it, but it's normal for everybody. That when things are hard that occur, they're not a punishment from a God. They're just normal. And so you can begin to realize, hey, I can face this. I've done this before. Anyways, so I hope that kind of helps. I hope that kind of helps you to just realize, hey, I'm a story. My life's important. And each day I'm going to face the adventure of the day and find something to be glad for, something to work on and be passionate about. And each one of us will be defined differently by that. And learning to put away things that diminish our story. For me, those things are substance abuse issues, like that I've seen as I worked in this field for so long. No matter what, that's something that diminishes someone's story. When it gets out of hand, it really takes over. And so if that's something you're facing, find help, because that's part of your story, but it's the story that you can conquer and get over. It's an adventure to work on, and it gives you a purpose to live for. And so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll wrap up the idea one more time. Lisa Cron defined story in 4 parts. How what happens affects somebody in the pursuit of a difficult problem, challenge, or goal, and how he or she changes as a result of that. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for joining me for Today in Therapy, episode 2. Thanks.